This is kind of like my 1v9 build, where you just team up and fuck everybody up, and you keep the side lanes pushed, and you group up. So basically, we don't run a Hullbreaker in this build, which is unusual for me, right? I usually always run Hullbreaker. But if you're looking for a 1v9 team fight build that does everything, tower breaking, team fight, all that stuff, this is how you play it.
ARTHEO ends the game. Keep fucking stalling their backs. Stall the backs. Stop the ports! Stop the ports! Stop the ports! Stop the ports! ARTHEO!
Has been slain. Double kill. An ally has been slain.
Let the land thunder by storm. I heat iron on fire.
You have been slain.
Whose heart calls the storm? Storm unleashed! The creations of mortals fail. The wild remains.
You have slain an enemy. An enemy has been slain.
Scars, what is one more? I split mountains with my roar.
Shut down. An enemy has been slain. Turret plating will soon fall. Unstoppable. An ally has been slain. Has destroyed a turret. Your turret has been destroyed.
Only to those who stand against the wild.
Rampage. An enemy has been slain. Destroyed a turret.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. Like just going straight up blue build. Um, frozen, frozen heart. Let me tell you something. When you run like my Thimblebreaker playstyle, all you have to do is literally go to blue build. You just go straight up winter fucking build. Iceborne, Frozen Heart, Thimble Winter. You got the Swifties, and that's all you need. And you just group up. Just group up, dive towers. You're tanky enough, and all you have to do is use your demolish and your alt, and that's it. And then by the late game, what you want to do, this is kind of like my 1v9 build, where you just team up and fuck everybody up, and you keep the side lanes pushed, and you group up. So basically, we don't run a Hullbreaker in this build, which is unusual for me, right? I usually always run Hullbreaker. But if you're looking for a 1v9 team fight build that does everything, tower breaking, team fight, all that stuff, this is how you play it. I wasn't expecting to win this early. I just played it well, played with my team, and my team overall was pretty good. Um, so what it looks like is after you get your winter items, you got your slow, you got your slow to attack speed, and you got your damage reduction from both of these items. You're not going to take shit from the towers and the minions. You got boost of Swifties, so you're fast, especially when you max Q second in the Thimble Winter. And let me explain something about the runes in a second with Thimble Winter. But the last two items is basically what you want to do is go Titanic. And then you want to sell the Thorns and go AP, which is going to be Nash's. Okay? The reason why is basically at this point in the game, you're looking to scale VOLIBEAR's damage. So you got everything he needs for team fights. You got the crowd control, you got the damage reduction. So basically, these items here alone just basically handle the crowd, handle the team fights. That's literally it. You walk into your big fucking ice storm. That's what VOLIBEAR is. He's a juggernaut. He charges in and he just slows everybody down. He just slows them down, and he gets the double shield. With the E and the Fimbo combo. So every time you immobilize them, you get that shield. So it's quite often, especially with Iceborne and your Q and your E and your R. You know, um, so basically, Titanic scales with VOLIBEAR's ult and it goes really well with these Q and W. So that's the whole point. So when you gain health, you deal extra damage, on hit damage during those 12 seconds, um, because of the health that you gain when you ult. And then his passive with Nashers, and I'll explain in a minute with the runes that I'm running. With Nashers, you're gonna have a shit ton of attack speed with the runes that scale well into it. It's going to give you that perfect amount of attack speed to auto attack, and every time you slow a target, you're just going to melt them with Nashers too. And when you pick up a Baron, that's even more AP. So this is like my 1v9 build. And sometimes it's situational with Thimble. If we're going against like an AP comp, I might swap out for like Force of Nature or Spirit. But overall, it's my 1v9 build to go to. Um, that's pretty much it. And sometimes situationally, you might have to consider Thornmail. And I was thinking about it with Aatrox, but he kind of fell off. And overall, we just didn't need it. And a lot of times with VOLIBEAR, all you have to do is CC him. And a lot of, like healing champions can't really heal that well if they're immobilized. So if you slow their attacks and you slow their movement, there's not really a whole lot they can do, and my team is just gonna burst them down. So it's the best in my opinion. So you can see, decent damage over Aatrox. Aatrox just lost pretty hard, and you still get decent amount of tower damage. So technically, you don't need Hullbreaker. Hullbreaker is if you want to go alone. You want to be in a lane alone. You want to split alone. You want to get the job done alone. Like if your team is doing shit and you're not winning team fights, that's when I would say Hullbreaker 95% of time is gonna allow you to win the game solo. But overall, you can kind of really help out your team with this build. just go straight up winter build into Titanic Nashers. And you can still drink those Iron Pot and Sorcery Pot to apply more damage to towers. That to me is the most broken build on VOLIBEAR. Objectives, usually secondary if we get the Rift. So we're talking about the runes here. So it's almost the same as the Stormbreaker, and it's very similar to the Thimblebreaker playstyle. The only difference is with a 1v9 Volibear, I'm replacing Overgrowth with Unflinching because I'm team fighting. I want as much tenacity and slow resistance as I can, because Iceborne also gives you both of those stats, so you're almost doubling your stats here. So it's quite nice. And Mana Flow Ban is just, really good for the lane, but also really good um, in combination with the Doran's Ring, keep your mana up, but with the Fimbulwinter. So basically what Fimbulwinter is, if you got the Awe passive or whatever, is it gives you health based on mana. And that's it. So Mana Flow Ban contributes to that. Iceborne contributes to that to get more health. So what that means is you're going to scale well with Iceborne and you scale well with Frozen Heart because both of these items scale with health. And then Titanic, especially, is going to be pretty massive, especially with a combination of Demolish. And if you take the Iron Pot, that's an extra 300 health there. Overgrowth isn't bad into it if you're going, Hullbreaker in the solo lane and you're constantly like clearing waves and getting a lot of CS. But in team fights, you definitely want, some form of tenacity and stuff. And then, most importantly, Gathering Storm is to scale damage into the late game. So by the time you get Nashers into the late, if the game goes really late, Volibear is just going to scale nonstop with Graps as well, with the Titanic. But with Nashers, the later the game goes, the more AP you're going to apply to it. And when you get the Baron buff, that's even more extra damage. So Nashers, even though you don't need like 300 AP on this build because you have Titanic. So Titanic benefits from attack speed and it also benefits from ability haste. So in this combination, you got ability haste from Iceborne, Frozen Heart, Fimbulwinter. That's enough. So you're going to be spamming that Q and W quite often. And then, Nashor's going to give you the auto attacks, the on-hit damage with the Titanic. It's the most deadliest thing you can have on Volibear. So when you dive into those towers with your team and slapping those towers 100 miles an hour with the Titanic and Nashers, plus the sorcery pot or the iron pot, whatever you take, that's all you need. So I'm going to show you an example of a 1v9 situation where I almost build full build. So this is basically it right here. Team fight. I got 7 assists, which you rarely ever see on me when I'm playing, uh, you know, split push all the time. But you can see it's the same build: Iceborne, Frozen Heart, Fimbulwinter, Titanic, and then eventually Nashers. And I got 11 kills. And it was looking rough for my team early on. My bot lane was not looking good at all. So again, you can carry very easily with this build. I highly recommend it. It's the same setup here with the runes. So this is a perfect example of 1v9 Volibear that I love to play, and these are the runes that I run from top.